Tonight, tense moments in court in ambulance procurement trial as the Attorney General wraps up cross-examination of Richard Jaba, seeking to prove that 2.3 million euros worth of imported ambulances were not fit for purpose.
My Lord, he's not allowing me to talk. He's just tackling me here. No one is helping me here. He's not allowing me to flow to answer his question, my Lord. And no one is helping me.
It says Jaba, who told you?
He's just here heckling me, not allowing me to flow to answer questions. I can't answer.
We have more from the court today, where for the first time the Chief Justice allowed the case to be streamed live. Plus, we hear from both the Attorney General's office and Richard Jaba, as they both claim the upper hand in what has been an explosive 3-week-long cross-examination.
Cross-examination is just below the bar. It's below the bar. They were legally incompetent. If you just a scale from 1 to 10, I'll give the Attorney General 3.
We have made our case as prosecutors. The AG, myself, my sister, the DPP, we took turns to cross-examine Jaba, and I think we have met our expectations.
And welcome to Top Story. My name is Mensah, and after weeks of clamor, the Chief Justice today finally allowed the ongoing explosive ambulance trial to be streamed live, revealing tense moments as the Attorney General wrapped up his cross-examination of the third accused, Richard Jaba. The AG sought to prove today that the 2.3 million euros worth of ambulances imported under the previous NDC administration were not fit for purpose. Now, the heart of the prosecution's case is their insistence that the letters of credit for the ambulances were improperly executed, causing financial loss to the state. Now, listen to this tense moment from today's trial as the AG Godfrey Adami clashed with Richard Jaba, who accused him of heckling, forcing the judge to step in.
Is that not correct?
My Lord,
That's very simple. The contract was between DOG, represented by Minister of Health, and Big C. Is that not correct?
my Lord, the contract was between the government of Ghana, represented by Minister of Health, and BC
So that's correct.
General Trading
That's fine.
LLC.
Now, Exhibit
And
X.
Hold on. And BC General Trading LLC.
BC General LLC.
Thank you. Now, Exhibit X was addressed to the Minister for Health. Is that not correct? Exhibit X was addressed to the Minister for Health. Is that not
Exhibit F,
X?
X,
That is what.
indeed was addressed to the Minister of Health.
Now, in Exhibit X, you do not find anywhere at all that the Minister for Health is directed to establish LC. To establish LC. Is that not correct?
My Lord.
Is that not correct?
As I was talking of exhibit, reading Exhibit X, that he's referring
You
to.
shall finish reading. Do you
You
see
asked a
anywhere?
question, going back, I need to go back there to answer you.
Now, straight scrutiny. If there's a line in there, I will try you.
This banter is not helping anybody. It makes it difficult also to record accuracy.
Right.
Unfortunately, you are the one I can speak to because you are the leader of the
My
party.
that.
So please, the question is
Yes.
whether in Exhibit X, he said that it is true. You do not find it anywhere that they are to establish the question, the answer, please.
Madam, can you
Please repeat the question.
In Exhibit X, do not find anywhere. Do not find it anywhere at all. That's the Minister for Health or any person at all is directed to establish LCs. Is that not correct?
That's not correct.
Okay.
Because in Exhibit X, it is very, very clear and ambiguous here that, in other words, the government of Ghana is bound by the terms of the agreement and must proceed to perform them or risk paying a huge judgment debt. Must proceed.
Yes.
Must proceed to perform them. Perform which one? Exhibit V.
The Attorney General.
And in Exhibit V, there is LC.
You are being so rowdy. I don't think.
My lord, it's not allowing me to talk. It's just tackling me here. No one is helping me here. He's also allowing me to follow to answer his question, my lord. And no one is helping me.
Mr. Jaba, who told you?
He's just here heckling me, not allowing me to flow to answer questions.
Mr. Jaba.
I can't answer.
Mr. Jaba.
So we all managed to watch it today. It happened live. It was streamed. Can't catch see the Chief Justice, but the man who was in court for us joins me in the studio, Latif Idris. So when did you guys know that this was going to be streamed live?
Yeah. So if you were following us live on My Jaw Online, you would notice that we put out there that the judge, the lead counsel for the parties had all gone into conclave. So when they came out, that was the announcement that we are going to share a live video link so you can also share with whoever is outside the courtroom to monitor us live. So that was when we got to know that the request as put forth by Dr. Casey Latu-Forson to the Chief Justice had been granted, and that the proceedings were going to be live.
So if you were not on myjoyonline.com today, you missed a lot, because we were, as even before it was streamed live, we were actually doing live text from the court,
correct,
bullet by bullet, blow by blow, minute by minute. And then this was actually a Zoom link that was shared. It only could take 500 people. So you could imagine the frustration when we were trying to get in there, and it was already full. You were waiting, hoping that somebody would drop out and then you can get in. And yes, we got it on the Joy News channel, so we all watched it. It was, as you just listened to that excerpt there, pretty tense at moments. What was the AG's main focus today as he wrapped up his cross-examination?
So AG, the Attorney General Godfrey Eboadamin, relied heavily on letters that were written to Big C by the former health minister, Alex Segbefia, and Sherry Ayite. These letters, according to the Attorney General, sought to suggest that government of Ghana was at the time pulling out of the contract between Big C and GOG. So in one of the letters read by, the Attorney General asked Richard Jaba to read. Portions of that letter stated that Alex Segbefia had written to Sherry Ayite had written to Big C, impressing on them to stop converting the sprinter buses into ambulances. That's one of the letters that Attorney General relied on. Richard Jaba in his response says that the health minister at the time didn't have the power to come through with that letter, because the Attorney General at the time had given a legal advice telling MMDAs that you cannot do without seeing through this particular contract, because if you did, you are going to incur some judgment debt to the state. And so all other letters that were written by Alex Segbefia and Sherry Ayite, according to Richard Jaba, were irrelevant, because the advice or the legal advice as given by the Attorney General at the time supersedes all other letters, because he made a categorical statement that failure to go through with this contract would cause Ghana some financial loss, or you would have to pay some judgment debt. And so make sure that you see through with this particular contract, which he referred to as Exhibit V, which was a contract signed between the government of Ghana and Big C.
Let's focus on this issue about the financial loss itself, which is really at the heart of this. And it boils down, listening today, what was happening to were the ambulances that you spent 2.3 million euros on, were they fit for purpose? And that was something that the AG probed quite hard today.
Yes, correct. So this has come up before when Richard Japa was cross-examined by lawyer for case Lato Forcing. And he made the point that the buses as they were brought into Ghana were not supposed to be used as ambulances. Portions of the contract, the clauses which we read in court, states that government of Ghana will go ahead and clear the Sprinter buses as they were brought in, go ahead and clear the accessories as they were brought in at the port, and then Big C will be notified. Big C will then send experts to Ghana to fix the accessories in the Sprinter buses, train paramedics, and then at that point, the ambulance will be complete. It will then be handed over to the government of Ghana before it is commissioned and used as ambulances. So in responding to that question, Richard Japa said that there was no handing over of ambulances to the government of Ghana to begin with. So what was inspected by the former health minister, Ajima Menu, I remember I was part of the team that visited that facility where we inspected those buses, and it was on Top Story, if I recall correctly. So he says they were not in the custody of the government of Ghana at the time. They were supposed to be kept at a safe place under warranty, and that if government of Ghana had used the ambulance, had moved the Sprinter buses, that warranty would have expired and it would have occasioned some cost to government. And so to argue that you shipped in something that was not fit for purpose is a non-starter according to Richard Japa, because the Sprinter buses as they were brought in were not supposed to be touched by the government of Ghana. Pack it, we will install the accessories, train your paramedics, and then hand over to you before you can go ahead and use it as ambulances.
And right after the court, which really now becomes the scene for a lot of the claims and counterclaims, even sometimes more explosive than what happens in the court, we had the Deputy Attorney General, Tian Yubua, now address the subject. And for him, they have established the case that the ambulances were vans and not ambulances. Listen to him.
And monies were paid.
So you would have rather government of Ghana incurred the judgment debt that was pending if we had not gone through with this agreement?
What's the guarantee that there was going to be a judgment debt?
It was captured in the AG's advice.
The AG's advice was to the effect that they must go by the dictates of the contract.
Part of which says that if you don't comply,
the AG's advice, you have no problem with it. It was properly given, but they were advised to go by the dictates of the contract. What were the dictates? Supply ambulances. Did you go by that? So I'm not being judgmental, but look at that's it. The contract was about how they were supposed to pay. Did they comply with it? I'm not going to be judgmental. So these are some issues in court that the court definitely make a pronouncement on. So I'm not going to give.
Okay, so in totality of the evidence, that the cross-examination that you have conducted of Mr. Japa, how would you rate your case on a scale of 1 to 10, probably?
We have done our side of the matter, and we think what we have done so far is to our satisfaction. We're now going to leave it to the judge. In our addresses, we highlight the salient areas for the judge's consideration.
You tried to question Richard Japa's claim of being released honorably the other day. How do you find him as a witness to you, prospectively?
Richard Japa is an ex-serviceman. He was in the witness box, just like any other person. He gave his evidence in chief. We cross-examined him. We came out with documents that we had on him. I will end it here.
He said the documents you procured are fraudulent, and the coat of arms is doctored because the wings are broken. So, how do you respond to that?
So if you make an allegation that something is fraudulent, who bears the burden to produce evidence? Japa. Maybe he will call the military people and say that this document is fraudulent, but as far as we are concerned, it's a genuine document, authentic document that we procure from the military high command, and we've tendered it.
Thank you very much. So Richard Japa is addressing the media. We will just get a bit of Richard Japa.
And indeed, you managed to get Richard Japa. Now, tell me, we've just had the Deputy Attorney General there give their own assessment of their performance.
Yes.
What was Jakpa's assessment of the cross-examination and his own performance?
Jakpa didn't rate his own performance. He says that lies in the bosom of the trial judge. But to rate the Attorney Generals as a department, Godfrey Yeboah-Dame, Yvonne Atokra, and then Alfred Tuah-Yeboah, he says he will score them 3/10.
Oh, their cross-examination is, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just below the bar. It's below the bar. They were legally incompetent. They lack below the bar. What I'm trying to tell that they were legally incompetent, very inept at arguing their case. You were in court. You saw that he was bringing documents and he was even confused. He didn't even understand that there is an LC account in the bank. And the LC is established from the account of the bank, from the account of the LC. So there's difference between 15 and over million and 3.9 billion, which was meant for the first 50 tranche, which came from the ministry. And the man was telling the court that debit and credit balance, which was open and closed, and the charges in the bank, that was the LC. That is completely, it's just pathetic. And you are there on how to educate them, my brother. That is the account of the LC. But the LC that the Minister of Finance signed was 3.95 million euros. At some point, that is 1/4 of the money that was in the open balance. That is over 50 million euros. So the real LC was a 3.95 million euros, which at the back of the page, you have the condition precedent. But on the opening balance, there's no condition precedent because it was just the Ghana International Bank opening the LC account for all the 15 million euros for the 200. And out of it, they removed the 50 cost of the ambulances for the next LC of 3.9. And this Attorney General, he cannot decipher. He can't even interpret common LC documents. And I on the audio that I released, you realize I educated on the LC. And I was expecting that today he would have come well informed, even get consultants to school him proper. But he still came there and came and repeated the same ignorance. And I have to point it out to him again.
From where
If just a scale from
scale of 1 to 10?
1 to 10, I'll give the Attorney General 3.
3.
Yeah, 3/10.
3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. That will be 3. No. I'll give him 3 out of 10.
Well, Latif, so that's his assessment of the AG's performance.
Correct.
There. You got an exclusive interview with him after he addressed the media there, and he raised further issues.
Yeah, I raised issues about how he's been treated by the court and the trial judge. We could take a listen.
You know why I'm saying it can't be below the belt? Because nations have disappeared on this earth because they couldn't defend their liberty. Majority of the conflict and wars in this world is because of liberty. Even the independence of Ghana was fought and people died because we were fighting for our liberty. So liberty is at the core of human existence. So when you attack an innocent person's liberty and you want to take it away from him and jail him unjustly, there's nothing that is below the belt. Okay. All cards are on the table.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Mr. Jaba.
So that's Richard Japa. He is the third accused in the ongoing ambulance procurement trial.
So again, that there is Richard Jakpa, and we understand that he believes he's been treated unfairly, and he has also filed some process with the Chief Justice, from what he says.
Yeah,
to you all.
no. So it's something is already written to the Chief Justice and copied the trial judge herself about how he's been treated by the court and the judge. He believes he's not been treated fairly by the trial judge, and he believes that from how he's gone back and forth and with some of the interventions by the trial judge, even when he's been cross-examined by the Attorney General I mean, representative, including Tiayeboa, Yvonne Atokra, and Godfrey Yeboah Dami. He believes that the judge has treated him like a convict even before the final determination of the case is made.
Let's talk about the NDC. They were in court today,
Yeah.
were they not? And as we know, Parliament almost doesn't work until this case is over. Today, you also spoke to the National Communications Officer of the NDC, who was in court, also addressing, giving you his perspective from the point of view of the party.
Yeah. So Sami Jemfi, he expresses surprise about some of the questions put to Richard Jakwa by the Attorney General. He thinks as an Attorney General, he should have known better and prepared better before coming to the court to put such questions to Richard Jakwa.
Credit, suggesting that letters of credit constitute advance payment. And Jakwa educated him that every letter of credit contains condition precedents. One of it is the point of negotiation. And the point of negotiation for this one was a Jebel Ali port in Dubai. So you can't say that if you see a provision in the contract that says that payment shall only be made on site of goods, then it means that on site of goods means when you see the goods at Tema Port. When as an Attorney General, you are supposed to read these simple things and know that the negotiation point is a Jebel Ali port in Dubai. So once it is shipped from there, and Big C received the bill of lading documentations, and that is it. They have met the condition precedents. Another ignorance of the Attorney General.
Let's bring in lawyer Samson Lada, your colleague here, also been following this very closely. Samson, let's start with the live streaming of this trial. Quite different from what we've been used to, even in the anti-gay bill case before the Supreme Court, where, of course, they allowed the cameras in so we can cover it ourselves. In this case, they decided to use a Zoom link that you can log in wherever you are and watch. What's your comment on that?
I think the decision is good. It helps for the transparency that has been sought so that people can follow and also be able to make their minds on what is going on and not simply rely on what journalists will report or what the lawyers after court may be talking about. Because of the sensitive nature of this matter, the accusations that it is deliberate in persecuting rather than a prosecution in good faith on the basis of clear wrongs that may have been committed against the Republic in respect of the 2.4 million euros at stake. So it's good.
And then we're now seeing both sides after court making pronouncements that appear to be very germane to the case itself. And both the accused, the Attorney General's office, everybody's pronouncing verdict on how they performed, how they had to perform. Is that even allowed in a case like this?
No, I think the issue about the performance, it's neither here nor there. And it does not impinge on the trial itself. I don't actually see that getting any close to contempt because it's just people assessing themselves on their performance, which is completely irrelevant to the substantive matter itself and how the evidence will be assessed at the end of the day. But we have been at this since when the case was filed in the court in December of 2021, and then the case itself, it commenced in January 17 of 2022, and we are still here. I still have been asking myself the question, did we need to go through all of this? If indeed, and in fact, there was an offer, a settlement offer of 2 million euros for a 2.4 million euro matter, and even the claim that that offer was later enhanced in an attempt of a plea bargain or a settlement, and it was still rejected. It's a lot of expense we are going through, state resources, which appears to me could have been terminated at the very point where money in excess of 4.2 million was offered in that regard. But, well, we're here, so let's see how it goes. It doesn't look like it's going to terminate anytime soon. After the ruling on the submission of no case on the 30th of March 2023, the first accused, Ato Forcing, commenced opening this case and also finished. And then this third accused was going through the cross-examination, and then we later discovered what the judge had called a tangential issue, suggested maybe a tangential issue that came up as to the secret tape and the questions about the conduct of the Attorney General, then took a different turn. Well, the Attorney General just finished his cross-examination. That means he is now going to do his own. And from what we are seeing and the questions that are coming up, I think we have an idea that there are so many witnesses that he is going to call, in excess of 8 witnesses or so, including the Speaker of Parliament, who was Minister of Health at the time, Alex Segbefia, who also became Health Minister, Menu, all sorts of people. So it doesn't look like this is going to end anytime soon.
Indeed, Samson, thank you very much. And to that question, really, Lateef, what next?
So what next is for Big C. So Big C, evidence will be taken from Big C. You know, Big C is a Dubai-based business. So they are unable to come to Ghana for cross-examination. So there will be a live video link between Big C and the court on the 11th of July. It will either happen at the Supreme Court building or within the same court complex, the Financial and Economic Court. That is what we have next on the table. But before that, the judge had asked Thaddeus Soy, who is lawyer for Richard Japa, whether he intends to carry through with his re-examination of the witness, which he waived. So that has been passed.
Okay, thank you very much, Lateef. And you can catch details of this and watch this also on Joy Prime. It's at 7, but you can check it out on our many social media platforms. Also, if you missed out on that live stream today, in that very tense, explosive cross-examination of Richard Japa by the state prosecutors led by the Attorney General himself, that ended today.
I send them, you get them. I get them, I send them.
I get them.
I pay them.
Telesale cash. I get them. I take them. Telesale cash.
You get them.
I send them. Telesale cash.
I send them. You get them.
Telesale cash.
I get them.
I buy them. I take them.
I pay them. I send them.
Telesale cash. Telesale cash.
Experience the ultimate convenience of sending money on Telesale Cash. Sending money from Telesale Cash to Telesale Cash is free. You can also make payments to merchants on all networks. Enjoy best value and total security with Telesale Cash.
Telesale, connecting energies.
What is football? I elevated Inter to the pinnacle of European football by winning the treble. I beat the unbeatable Barcelona with Real Madrid, breaking all records on the way. I feel the hearts of the Romanists rejoice after winning their first European title. I am relentless. I am ambition. I am a winner. I am José Mourinho. I am football.com.
Place your bets now.
It's time to shop, smile, and repeat. Yes, shop, smile, and repeat. Get value for your money with extra when you shop from Compute Ghana Prime Week promo. Get prices on premium brands like Samsung, LG, Sigma, TCL, Sony, Lenovo, Tecno, and many more. Don't miss out on the biggest sale of the month. Visit your nearest Compute Ghana showroom this week and buy all your laptops, printers, TVs, home theaters, and more. You can also shop online at www.computeghana or call 0302 752 020. Compute Ghana Prime Week. Shop, smile, and repeat.
Live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra, and Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM, also on myjoyonline.com. Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. Tonight, Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono recommends to President Akufo-Addo to nominate 5 judges, including the current judge presiding over the Atuforsen trial, Justice Ifia Sari-Boche, and 4 others to the Supreme Court. We have details of that.
Also tonight, controversial airline to regulate prices of cement laid as minorities say the airline will no longer regulate prices but mandate price reporting.
Control element have been taken out, and if that is the case, Mr. Speaker, the advice is that it's no longer a controversial issue, so it can go.
But not all members on the minority side are happy about the decision.
Some of us were against it, and we're still against it. But hey, it's been late. That is not the end of the fight. We will debate this issue, and we will expose the hypocrisy and point out to the people of this country why we think that they must not accept this thing to happen, and we will fight it.
I'll bring you details from the meeting between the cement manufacturers themselves and the development committee.
Also tonight's failure by government to honour its bargain on the implementation of a new salary structure in cares wrath of Clocksag as it directs members to abandon work indefinitely.
All staff of the civil service and the local government service should stay away from work until further notice. Similarly, all cluster secretariat offices are closed. Kindly take note and comply accordingly. This is the decision that has been taken by our National Executive Council.
But tonight, the National Labour Commission has summoned leadership to a meeting tomorrow, but Clocksack says it is not certain this move will make them rescind their decision.
Only our National Executive Council that can reverse this decision. They took this decision. It is not us.
Are you honoring tomorrow's meeting?
Tomorrow's meeting with the Labour Commission, well, tomorrow morning when we wake up, we will decide whether we should honour it or we should not honour it.
And $360 million IMF cash finally hits Bank of Ghana's accounts as funds are expected to help finance projects in the budget.
And in sports, South Africa's Black Leopards backs Max Okunedu to return the club to the top flight after unveiling him as the club's new coach on a 3-year deal.
And you brought joy to our community, words of residents of Noka in the Eastern region as they heap praises on overall winner of the Joy News Impact Makers Award.
Joy News has been a blessing, I would say, to the whole nation.
It has helped reduce the danger of our children crossing the busy highway to go to school. The school has saved many lives.
Okay. And after the long wait, Guinness World Records names Millennium Chef Ebenezer Smith as the world record holder for the longest cooking marathon by an individual.
The Millennium Chef Smith, officially globally, is documented.
That and more in tonight's edition of Newsnight. Do well to join us with your thoughts. Your comments is via WhatsApp 055 1111997. We're on X Spaces, also on myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Apawu.
And my name is Mensah. Let's start tonight. Let's stay, in fact, with the courts. If you're just listening from top story all the way to now, there's a lot happening there. And the Chief Justice, Gertrude Tokono, has recommended to President Akufo-Addo to nominate 5 judges, including the current judge presiding over the Atuforsen trial, that ambulance procurement trial, Ifya Sari-Boche, and 4 others to the Supreme Court. I want to bring in the head of our legal affairs desk. Is in the studio with me, Nyako. And could you tell me who are these other judges?
Okay, so the first one is Her Ladyship Justice Angelina Mensah, and she was appointed to the Court of Appeal in 2019 by President Akufo-Addo. We also have His Lordship Justice Eric Balfour. You remember him, that he worked on the Atuisian trial. And then His Lordship Justice Edward Amoakwa Santi. He is also a justice of the Court of Appeal. And Her Ladyship Justice Sarah Pamela C.A. Cranting, also a Justice of the Court of Appeal. And the last one, Her Ladyship Justice Ifya Sewa Asari-Boche, a Justice of the Court of Appeal. And we've heard much about her. She is currently on the trial of Atuforsen in the ambulance case. And so Justice Asante's term, according to the release of office at the ECOWAS court, ended on the 31st July 2022. He was requested to remain at post on account of the withdrawal of Mali, Guinea and Burkina Faso from the community. So his current tenure is expected to end in 2026 or earlier, when he's expected to return to Ghana's judiciary. And so when that thing is done, President Akufo-Addo will consider the names that have come up and will appoint.
Well, let's check on whether there's a formal communication to Parliament. Well, that's the letter that's been written to the President by the Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu that my colleague brought to you. But Kweku Asante joins us on the line. Let's do a quick check on this. Kweku, do we know if there's been any formal communication to Parliament to that effect?
Not yet. As we speak, the Speaker of Parliament has not read any communication from the President. In fact, it is among the first order of business whenever Parliament sits after praying, they read communications from the President. That is if we have already come in. But already this letter from the Chief Justice has already begun circulating. I've been running my checks from among the minority leadership and the majority leadership as whether or not they have any indications. Some members in the minority leadership, as you say, are already raising concern about the propriety of the Chief Justice being the one to recommend names to the President to appoint, especially when one of these persons that have been nominated by the Chief Justice to the President is at the heart of an ongoing trial of which the minority leader is standing trial for allegedly causing financial loss to the state. So they've raised concerns about the propriety of that, the fact that the Chief Justice will be the one. Mind you, the Constitution says the President is the one who will appoint judges to the Supreme Court in consultation with the Judicial Council, which is chaired, by the Chief Justice, as well as in consultation with the Council of State. So there are those who already raised these proprietary issues, but they say they want to wait first to see what the President will do with this. Mind you, this is just a recommendation that the Chief Justice has made to the President. The President can accept it or reject it. If the President accepts it and works on it through both the Judicial Council and the Council of State and writes formally to the Speaker of Parliament, they say that they will make their concerns public.
And Kweku, stay with us because, as you know, it's been coming for quite some time. In fact, it's been more than a week. This controversial airline that seeks to regulate the price of cement finally has been laid. And there's some controversy around this already, but there's some substantive changes too that we are learning about. Tell us more.
We understand now that K.T. Hammond, Minister of Procurement Industry, has conceded to a few things, and that he is no longer seeking to regulate the pricing of cement. Is no longer seeking to tell cement manufacturers how much exactly they should be selling their products. We have not seen copies of these amended LI yet, but it has been allowed to late. In fact, we heard from Kwame Gavin Sagboja on the floor. The minority had been seriously opposed to this right from the start, but they say because of this concession from the minister, they have no objection for which reason they've allowed this LI to. They listen to Kwame Sagboja on the floor lay out why the minority have now softened their stance.
The last time the minister was here, colleagues from both sides had very serious concerns. Those concerns have been sent back to the committee and have been addressed. I am informed that they have dealt with those issues, and based on that, we are advised that it is no longer harmless. So we are okay to support it again. At least what I've been told, that it is not about price control. It's the price control element has been taken out. It is about reporting, the price reporting to the committee. And if that is the case, Mr. Speaker, the advice is that it's no longer a controversial issue, so it can go.
And there is already some division on the front of the minority on this subject. Some unhappy. Kweku.
Yes, one member of the Trade Industry Committee, himself a former Deputy Minister for Trade Industry, Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, is leading the pack of NDC MPs who are not really happy about the decision of their leadership to allow this LI to lead. In fact, Murtala Mohammed has gone to the record with me, telling me that this has shown weakness and that whether or not it's about price control or price reporting, his side should have stood their ground and blocked this LI from being laid.
2012, it was 13 cities. 2013, it was 14 cities. 2014, it was 15 cities. 2016, it was 16 cities. 2017, that was the first year of this government in power. A bag of cement was sold at 18 cities. So it is very clear that it has nothing to do with the absence of any regulation. It has to do with how disastrously the economy is run. It has to do with escalatory prices, cost of doing business in Ghana. It has to do with the higher import duties on majority of the imports they use to produce this. It has to do with the level of depreciation of the Ghanaian cedi against the foreign in this case foreign currency, in this case the dollar. So this regulation is much ado about nothing, and that is why on principle some of us were against it and we're still against it. But hey, it's been late. That is not the end of the fight. We will debate this issue and would expose the hypocrisy and point out to the people of this country why we think that they must not accept this thing to happen, and we will fight it.
And Kweku, it's been laid now. What happens now?
In 21 sitting days, that LI will become law. Today, from today counting up until the end of this month, when Parliament is ordinarily expected to go on break, there are 17 sitting days. That is without the normal Mondays that Parliament do not sit. To get 21 days between now and the end of July, when Parliament will go on break, Parliament would have to consider sitting on Mondays, all 4 Mondays that are within the next 4 weeks, to be able to get 21 days to be able to get this LI to mature into law. Or they would have to extend sitting into early part of August to be able to get a 21 sitting days for that LI to be able to mature into law. On the other hand, if Parliament at any point in time believes that this LI should not be allowed to mature into law, they would have to marshal two-thirds on both sides. That is more than 130 MPs to really block this from becoming law. Something that both sides really know that it's not a reality.
And I have with me now the former Deputy Trade Minister, Murtala Mohammed, who has raised issues with the position taken by his minority leadership. He joins me right now on the line. Murtala Mohammed, since you raised your concerns this afternoon, have you had a conversation with your leadership to understand why they took the decision they took to back the laying of this legislation?
Well, Evans, good evening to your cherished listeners and yourself. This morning when I walked into the chamber and I saw Honorable K.T. Hammond, so I went to Honorable Abuja, and my position was that we should not allow the LI to be laid. And my reason was simple. I've had some interactions with some leadership, particularly on the Committee for Subsidy and Legislation, and my understanding was that there had been some amendment. I haven't seen a copy of the amendments. Many members of Parliament haven't. The reason why we had to debate this issue at the committee level was to be convinced the reasons why they were coming with this LI. But Evans, and I also pointed out to the leadership that I was completely against this. And I'll provide you with some statistics. In 2009, the bag of cement was 8 cedis. 2011, 9 cities, 2012, 12 cities, 2014, 14 cities, 2016, 16 cities, 2017, 18 cities. So if you observe, the increase every year between 2009 to 2017 has always been either 1 cities or 2 years. But from 2017 to 2018, it jumped from 18 cities to 24 cities, 2019, 36 cities, 2020, 64 cities, 2021, 75 cities, 22, 85 cities, 2023, 95 cities, and today, 2024, 105 cities. So if you observe, you realize that between 2017 to 2024, it jumped from 18 cities to 105 cities. It has nothing to do with the absence of regulation. It has to do with, one, higher import duties on the commodities that are used to produce cement. It has to do with the depreciation of the Ghanaian cedi. Government has a huge responsibility. Now, the attempt to heap the blame on the cement manufacturers, for me, is disingenuous. The cement manufacturers and the governments all need to do something, and government has a major responsibility. Because if it has to do with what the minister is claiming, how come that between 2009 to 2017, it increased just 1 city, 2 cities, and between 2017 to now, we have it escalating over 150%.
Yeah, but Murtala Mohammed, as we speak tonight, your leadership still believe now with the changes that the ministry has effected, this LI can pass. It has been laid now. You've lost the battle, have you not?
I have had some conversations with Honorable Abuja after that, and he seemed to agree with me some of the issues I raised, and we're going to galvanize forces. There are many people from our side and even the NPP side who are against this ally.
But it's too late now, isn't it? Procedurally, it's too late.
No, it's not too late. You heard your reporter. We can still make a move to truncate this ally if we are able to convince with compelling reasons why we think that this ally should not be allowed to. And in any case, If we succeed in preventing us from sitting on Monday, it will be moot because Parliament is rising.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed. Grateful to hear your thoughts on this particular subject. So you see there's obviously some division in front of the minority on this particular subject. He says he has made his case to the minority leadership and they see his point. But the matter is already gone because the LI has already been laid.
Well, we've been hearing from the manufacturers as well. All day there have been meetings about this particular matter, and they've been meeting with the Cement Manufacturing Development Committee chaired by the Professor Alex Todu. Well, in an earlier interview, he said the committee is not opposed to the intention of government to force cement manufacturers to declare their ex-factory price.
At the inauguration of the committee on the 8th of March, Honorable Katie Hammond was very clear that issues of pricing should be transparent and should be voluntarily declared by the industry. And he called on us to find ways of ensuring that cement prices are more or less uniform across the country. Our main interest is transparency in the cost build-up so that Ghanaians would understand when prices go up, the basis for the price build-up and related matters. I'll be very, very clear on this issue. The minister's call to the industry was that declare your ex-factory prices, the prices at which you sell the product. Once you do declare it, government has a way of asking that, okay, is the ex-factory price fair based on all that we know about the cost build-up? But in the absence of the industry, indeed, there's no country in this world where governments do not have an interest in the regulation of all industries. This is not talking about price control, but rather about industry being transparent with government on cost builds up and the prices they declare. I would like to add that the minister, after 5 or 6 occasions of requesting this transparency, stated that he had to resort to legislation because industry did not want to self-declare.
Okay.
So the legislation was not the first interest or action, but it was an action imposed upon him when the players did not comply with his request.
Well, would you advise turning back on that, knowing that you are now engaging these stakeholders?
I want to believe that if there is voluntary declaration and if we all agree on the rules, the Honourable Minister will be most happy and we would all move and create a very healthy environment for the industry.
That's Professor Alex Todu, and we're following closely on that meeting.
And this is your election headquarters. It is brought to you by Petrosol Clean Fuel in full quantity, CIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, AICPA, and CIMA together as Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, the German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental, Wellness and Beauty, Chalkbox Technologies, a convenient service, Youth Brick Foundation, bridging gaps for positive youth development.
And you know, yesterday, the flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, officially presented the name of Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, the Energy Minister, to the National Executive Committee of the party. And this follows that presentation also to President Akufo-Addo, whether it should be Matthew Poku-Prempeh. Yesterday, we brought you a report on some of the controversy, some of the concerns that have come up. But thankfully, today, Evans, whilst we're doing the news night, and thankfully we've been joined in the studios by the Majority Leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin. He is also a National Council member amongst others, and they'll be meeting on Thursday. The NEC will meet first, and then the National Council will also have a meeting to take a look at the name that has been presented by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio, Mr. Afenyo-Markin.
Thank you, and good evening to all your cherished listeners, and thank you for having me.
It's good to have you in the studios as well. So we are looking ahead to Thursday. Already there's been talk about Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh. We know that he's been presented as the flag bearer to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. What's going to happen on Thursday, for instance, when the council meets, you say?
Well, the processes within the laws of our party would be triggered. All that we are hearing are part of the preparations. Like I indicated earlier, the flag bearer called leadership of the party and gave us the name and discussed why he felt that has to be done. Prior to that, the president had discussed the running mate with us as leadership, and the point was that we're supposed to inform our members The generality of the members duly accepted the running mates, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh. Of course, he's one of us. But I must state that both His Excellency the President and the flag bearer himself, Dr. Bawumia, acknowledged the fact that there were other contenders who equally deserved the honor of becoming a running mate. And that there was...
Contenders? Did he give you any names about the other contenders?
I am aware of those others. The Education Minister is one. Our respected former colleague, Honorable Natoshi of Common Fund is also another. We had Honorable First Deputy Speaker Joe Wise, Joe Sewusu. I also know of a former colleague of ours, Kukufu, Honorable Kukufu, and a few others. So there was also the need to engage them. For me, that was very heartwarming, coming from His Excellency the President and the flag bearer himself, that these are individuals that were being considered. So once the mantle has been given to Napo, then there was a need to also discuss issues with them. Because, politics, sometimes emotions are involved, So these are all matters to be managed. And I think so far it's been good. If you watch some of the pictures out there, the flag bearer has also taken steps to engage the leadership of the party in the Ashanti region, especially the regional chairman, some prominent individuals there, to get them to get on board, I should say. So it's been the consultation in one way or the other, one after the other, all to ensure that the party gets around the nominee. MPP is a party of peers. At any point, you would have many people feeling okay. What I would want to caution against is this temptation of feeling that you are better than somebody. I mean, none of us can ever be perfect or tick every box. And so if one is considered, we have to all accept it, no matter what. And of course, I forgot to mention our brother, the Greek minister, Honorable Brian Achampong. He was also in strong contention for the running mate thing. So once it's been settled, we need to all rally around him. I saw Napo in Parliament today, in his usual self, very hearty. Perhaps what people don't know about him is his strong determination to get things done. In Ghana, sometimes if you are a bulldozer for the right purpose, you are given a name.
Well, really, that's not the general perception.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking
about that. We'll get into it.
I'm not talking about any general perception. You are putting words.
Everybody accepting Napo, at least on your side, is what I'm coming to, leader.
Emefa,
really,
I'm talking about what I see him bring on board. So allow me to make my point. Let's have a friendly conversation.
Yes, very friendly.
So let me finish. Let me land. I'm not talking about perception, and I will not answer anything about perception. I am here to say that our running mate. No.
Your running mate. You should be very concerned
it's
about
not a matter of being concerned about the perception. I know that this enterprise is a perception-driven enterprise. That much I know. But equally, it is important for me to bring out the unique selling propositions that I have on the table for a candidate that I put forward for an election. And I'm saying that the running mate is a bulldozer, is a hard-working person, a determined person, an unyielding spirit who knows how to get the job done.
Okay, point well made on that. Also, the issue about all your members on your side accepting and rallying around this name that you talk about, at least Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh. We've heard from Andy Appiah-Kubi, for instance. Have you been able to whip him in line? Has his thoughts changed? The fact that Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh is not a unifier. He talks about that. For which reason he thinks he's not the right person for this job?
When the NDC was in search for a running mate, the Council of Elders had a vote. Professor Nano Opoku-Agyeman had 35%. In spite of that, when the result was announced and her name was presented publicly, all the party rank and file accepted her. I'm saying that we can never have a perfect system. We cannot have a perfect character to lead any organization anywhere in the world. But once that person is fit for purpose, we must all rally behind the person. The party is a party of peers. I sitting here, when I was announced as a leader, not every member agreed or felt that I was the right person to do so. But I can tell you that today, such people may have a different perception because of my approach. So the ball is in the court of those who are benefiting from this honor to prove a point when the opportunity comes. It's as simple as that.
And so we are hoping that at least the council will be accepting Dr. Matthew Pukuprem as your running mate.
Oh, there's going to be general discussion, and I'm sure everything will be fine on Thursday.
Okay, we're grateful. And that's all time will allow us. We are grateful for passing through. And that's the majority leader, Alexander Afenyo-Marking, on Newsnight.
Indeed. And you're still live here on Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM. And you may have noticed that one of the key challenges any rainy season is the challenge with flooding, and many will point a finger at the Odo River, which is one of the preeminent receptacles of water from uphill into the capital. Well, and we're listening now and hearing from residents along the Odo River leading to the Korle Lagoon. They are asking for immediate dredging of the drains as they fear any flood can result in a disaster, described as a principal outlet through which all major drainage channels in the national capital empty their waste into the sea. Volumes of waste mixed with the awful stench as well as an overflow whenever it rains is now causing people along the Odo River to speak out. Residents who have been speaking to Hanodami say they want the sand out of the drains to allow for smooth flow. Here's a special report.
The waters flow from the Bri area through many communities such as Aveno, Circle, and Graphic Road downstream into the Korle Lagoon. Along its pathway are mostly sand and filth. These elements hinder the smooth flow of the waters. The country is ranked highly among African countries that are most exposed to risks from multiple weather-related hazards. Those who live near these areas and constantly bear the brunt of the flood's impact are asking for big rubbish bins while they constantly look out for dredging equipment. Grace Gavo and Nana Kwame live and work at Aveno.
I have lost count of my property that has been swept away whenever it rains because the floods render us homeless. My wish is to relocate, but I can't pay the rent in other parts of the city which do not get flooded. We plead with government to constantly dredge the lagoon so that it does not overflow when it rains.
When the rain falls continuously, the water overflows its banks, and the force is strong enough to wash vehicles away. When it happens like that, we have to run for our lives. All we need is for the sand to be dredged, or we will not hear good news.
At the Odo market, traders are quick to remind us of the awful memories they have of the June 3rd fire and flood disaster that led to the loss of about 150 lives. To curb similar related events and to build resilience against perennial flooding in Accra, $675 million is needed. That will enhance flood protection regime along the Odo Basin and also re-engineer drains, remove obstructive materials, and implement a performance-based dredging program. According to the stakeholders, But that money is not available. This corn mill operator shares his experience during every raining season.
We have to dismantle our corn mill machine and equipment whenever it rains heavily. We fear for our lives. Because when it floods, live electrical cables falls into the stagnant waters, which electrocutes people. Sometimes people even die as a result. We plead with authorities to raise the wall.
And as we were filming, the rains set in. Traders briskly begin to pack their wares to safety. They are not happy about the situation and have one common plea.
3 months ago,
the authorities held a meeting with us and they told us they would dredge the drains. I hope that they will fulfill them.
That request may not, however, likely get an immediate response, as the Works and Housing Minister, Kujopong Kroma, acknowledged on the Pulse on the Joy News channel in April this year that his office is behind schedule on flood control program.
Because of resource constraints that we have had. Even what we are doing is just about 2% of what we should be doing in the Greater Accra. It's a $200 million project funded by the World Bank. That's a Garrett project. But what has actually been released or spent is not up to $200 million. So we will do our best with the resources and time that we have.
As to when the promise will be fulfilled or the flooding situation permanently addressed, those affected by the negative impact of the rain continue to find alternatives to stay alive and to secure their property whenever the clouds gather.
Because you see, it just started drizzling and we are packing off our stuffs. Authorities do not care because they have safe places to live. They are supposed to dredge the odor.
For Joy News, I am Hannah Odami.
And my name is Evans Mensah, live from the studios here at Joy 99.7 FM. And I'm doing this with Emefa Apawu. Guess who is joining me right now is George Yafe with business.
Hi, Evans. And coming up in business, $360 million IMF cash hits Bank of Ghana's account as funds are expected to help finance some projects identified in the 2024 budget. And more oil firms adjust prices as pumps as they cite this depreciation as the major driver. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, Sinter's Tanks, and Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal.
Hey, so as for you, every day you are just pressing your phone. Why? Are they paying you?
They are, Oma.
Eh?
The more I use my MTN, the more points I get. And I can use those points to get airtime, data, and even discounts at shops and restaurants.
Hey, so that is why all of you are always pressing your phones. And you won't tell us, so that we too we can enjoy some.
Oh, ma.
There's always more to enjoy with MTN Rewards. Just keep talking, testing, and browsing all day, every day to collect your points and use it to redeem amazing offers and discounted freebies right away. There's so much available for you. So dial *550# and get your reward today. Let's go. Everywhere you go.
Kweku, have you heard what they are doing on MTN?
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom
Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. For call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Luxurious affordable living is your right, and no one understands it better than BOT Properties. BOT Properties specializes in modern residential buildings and commercial office spaces. Our properties include the Equator, a 12-story made up of over 100 apartments near Accra Mall. Other Equator courts, we offer you the deluxe living experience with our top-of-the-range homes, high-quality homes built with style and precision to suit your lifestyle. The Equator Courts is a gated community with 2-story, 4-bedroom detached houses at Ogbojo, East Legon, near American House. Our office complexes include Zion House, Shiashi, East Legon, Zion House, Sofa Line Interchange, Kumasi. Our offices and apartments are for both rental and outright purchases at affordable prices and with flexible payment terms. Kindly contact us on 0257 960 919 or visit botproperties.com. BOT Properties, the new meaning of affordable luxury.
Choboy! Yeah. We have a new leader in town. OBRNT. Amanfo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal packed with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
Life in Denmark can be quite different for an African legend like Michael Essien. The weather, the food, the silence. But there is always a place he can call home.
Home is where your heart is.
SportyBet. Play with champions.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. On the $360 million IMF cash has hit Bank of Ghana's account. Joy Business understands that the funds came through yesterday, as earlier announced by government. The funds are expected to help finance some projects identified in the 2024 budget. However, some could be described that this could go a long way to also improve Bank of Ghana's reserves, which is reaching more than $6 billion. The Bank of Ghana will take the dollars and give the cedi component to government. Meanwhile, economist Patrick Sumin believes that we should be measured about the expectations when it comes to the impact of this inflow on the economy.
The 360 million will be just about 6% of our gross reserve. So that in and of itself is not really going to make substantial difference in terms of even our reserve. So I think it's important that we don't raise expectation too much that the 360 million is going to solve our problems, because it wouldn't. I think it's probably a stronger commitment to making longer-term reform that will change the structure of our economy. That's probably more important than the 360 million to go a long way to show up some of our reserves. But that impact is going to be very marginal. I think the message that's been put out there in terms of the nature of our recovery of the economy is probably overstating it.
Economist Professor Patrick Sumin. Now, more oil marketing firms are increasing prices at the pumps. Now, Joy Business checks show that the adjustment this time is not only linked to the big firms, but across board. Petrosol, for instance, this afternoon selling a litre of petrol at 14 Ghana cedis, 85 pesos. Meanwhile, the executive secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, Nankanamwa, says prices would have gone up higher than what we are witnessing. He tells Joy Business some of these firms have actually absorbed some of the increment.
Could have crossed
15 Ghana cedis, without a blink. But as we speak, diesel that was expected to have actually gone to about some 15.4 is still trading around 14.9 or thereabout. That for us is within projections, it's within the numbers, and we think that the OMCs have been quite okay for this particular window. If you look at just 2 weeks ago, the Chamber Bulk Oil Distribution Company, Seaboard, were actually using for their market purposes an exchange of 14.95 exchange to $1 compute for their pricing to the oil marketing companies. If you look at the window we just started, 14.95 has now moved to about 15.55, a difference of about 60 pesos every liter. That clearly is significant. And so the city's poor run of form over the past 2 weeks clearly would also be accounting for where we find ourselves now. Where
Duncan Amua is the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers. Now, government is seeking Parliament's approval for a deal struck with the 3 independent power producers when it comes to restructuring debts owed them. It is coming after the Finance Ministry announced that it has reached a deal to restructure these debts. That is this week. However, the approval will just cover 3 out of the 7 firms. Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam is the Minister of Finance.
We are committed, ladies and gentlemen, to sustaining our macroeconomic policy adjustment and reforms to fully restore macroeconomic stability and debt sustainability, while fostering a sustainable increase in economic growth and poverty reduction. Despite the fact that 2024 is an election year, we are committed to enhancing domestic revenue mobilization and tightening expenditure commitment controls to avoid policy slippages. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to also report significant progress in our debt restructuring efforts, which began in 2022.
Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam. Now, Cal Bank has announced that it has been able to raise 146 million Ghana cedis from its shareholders through this renounceable right issue. Now, this was captured in the offer results released by the bank. Now, the bank was actually targeting about 600 million Ghana cedis in the offer. However, it is planning to use part raised from this fund. So it will raise about this amount from the shareholders, and the rest will be done through a private placement. The notice added that shares that have not been applied for by qualified shareholders will be offered to interested investors through a private placement. Now, if you had invested on the Ghana Stock Exchange from January to today, your returns now stands at more than 23%. And that's all for business on Newsnight.
Thank you very much, George. We are fair. Now, tonight's government's failure to honour its bargain of implementing a new salary structure has incurred the wrath of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOCSAC, to instruct all members to suspend all government businesses indefinitely, effective tomorrow. Well, this industrial action is as a result of the government's failure to implement the agreed upon a new salary structure, which aims to improve the conditions of service for all CLOCSAC members. Well, according to Dr. Isaac Bampoa, Executive Secretary of CLOCSAC, all efforts to engage relevant parties, including the Finance Ministry, the National Labour Commission, and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission since 2022, have been unsuccessful, leading to the decision to go on strike.
Of nationwide strike, in consonance with our letter number BA 15, Volume 2, dated 21st June 2024, indicating our intention to proceed on nationwide strike if the new salary structure for the staff of the civil service and local government service is not implemented, we hereby declare a nationwide strike with effect from Wednesday, 3rd July 2024. All staff of the civil service and the local government service should stay away from work until further notice. Similarly, all cluster secretariat offices are closed. Can you take note and comply accordingly? This is the decision that has been taken by our National Executive Council that we should go on strike. And it's only the National Executive Council that can reverse this decision. I cannot do it. So Please, food for thought. It's only our National Executive Council that can reverse this decision. They took this decision. It is not us.
Are you honoring tomorrow's meeting?
Tomorrow's meeting with the Labour Commission, well, tomorrow morning when we wake up, we will decide whether we should honor it or we should not honor it.
Well, so that's Dr. Isaac Bampoado, who is Executive Secretary of CLOCSAG, and we know that the National Labour Commission has summoned them to a meeting tomorrow. They insist that this meeting will not change anything, but we'll be monitoring that meeting, and when we get more, we'll bring that to you.
They say when CLOCSAG, when they cough, the entire country will catch a cold because they're just very powerful in the scheme of things. Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana. Let's do sports now, and Ms. Bao joins us with the latest. Hello, Ms. Bao.
Hello, Evans. Well, it's former Black Stars assistant coach Max Okonedu. He has completed a move to South Africa's Black Leopards, and the chairman of the club, Chifiwa Tediela, says that he's confident that Max Okonedu is the right person to revive the fortunes of the club. Now, the South African second-tier side, they've reached an agreement with the Ghanaian Gaffer on a 3-year deal, and in a statement that they released today, the chairman noted in quotes that is open, that the Gaffer, he says, quotes, there is only one thing to play for, which is promotion, and to achieve that, we need to leave no stone unturned, and to do that, we need to have the best people in charge. We are very happy with Maxo. We are confident that he can take us to the promised land. Remember, Maxo won the MTN FA Cup with Nson Truman and was due to lead the side to the CAF Confederations Cup, but has opted to go to South Africa to help Black Leopards gain promotion to the South African top flight there. Now, events in the Euros, and even before the Euros though, some Ghanaian sprinters have already qualified for the Olympic Games. Benjamin Azamati, Abdul Rashid Saminu, they've all qualified for the Games through the World Athletics ranking system. And after the period of qualification elapsed on Sunday, Azamati, he will be heading to his second Olympic Games, having competed at the Tokyo event in 2021. In fact, this will be 22-year-old Saminu's first Olympic Games, where he will also be competing in the 200 meters. Now, having qualified for that event through the entry standard. Now, Joy Sports' Fentil Tahir has been explaining what this entry standard is all about.
We remember there will be 56 athletes competing at the men's 100 meters at the Paris Olympic Games. Now, out of this number, 30 of them are chosen through the entry standard, and the entry standard is 10.00 seconds. So any athlete that makes that, you automatically qualify. Then the remaining 26 of them will come from the ranking system, and the ranking is done through the competitions that you've run at the whole season. Each of them comes with a certain point allocation. So the more you run, the more you build up points to improve your own ranking. At the end of June 30, the ranking is looked at, and then the top 26 that come after those 30 who have made the entry standard are taken. In that ranking, Azamati came through in the 39th position, and Saminu occupied the 54th position, which means both of them fall inside the 56 athletes that will be going to Paris.
Fentil there. All the best. We'll wait to see how they fare in the games proper. Well, even there was a game earlier today between Romania and the Netherlands. The Netherlands defeated Romania 3-0 to advance to the quarterfinals of the competition. Later, in some minutes from now, Austria will be playing the Denmark there in that round of 16 game. So we'll see how it fares. Austria versus Turkey. I beg your pardon. Austria versus Turkey in that round of 16 game. So we'll see how things do fare. Evans, not sure how you've studied the parents in the quarterfinals so far.
Oh, maybe I'm looking forward to that. It's an obvious
France versus Portugal.
Not the one. I'm looking forward to Germany versus Spain.
Oh yeah, that's
Germany
a good one
versus Spain. That is the final.
On Friday.
After that game, I'll stop watching the Euros. It's whoever wins that game wins for me the Euros.
Oh really? Germany or Spain?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they are clashing.
Yeah, they are clashing. So, well, the winner of that game will also face either of Portugal or France. So yeah, it's turning out to be really, really nice. Well, that's it for sports events.
I'm still waiting for the English to be knocked out.
It's coming home.
Yeah, they are coming back home.
Oh no. The cup is coming home.
Okay.
Watch. I've told you to bet. You are not betting.
I'm afraid to bet with you. You never forget. You don't forget to bet. I owe you already. I don't want to pile on to that. And it's accumulated to too much interest.
Yeah,
so I don't want to go there. Anyway, there's been some agitation in the Tamale Metropolis today, and we're now hearing from the Northern Regional Security Council. They're assuring the public that anyone found culpable for the deaths of 2 children in Bakbayiri in that metropolis will face punishment. Well, the Northern Regional Minister and head of RESEC, Ahaji Shania Hassan Shaibu, has been speaking to us, and he's been asking the family members to remain calm. He's assuring justice will be served. The deaths of the 2 children whose decomposed bodies were discovered on Sunday sparked outrage.
Justice will be served because the law has no respect of status or image. Law is law, and law must take its own course. Whatever findings that come out of the autopsy report will be respected because we are law-abiding people. A prosecutor, I don't know how these things work out, but I know that if a crime is committed and you are culpable, you have to be responsible for your own act. Out of town, but I'm sure that Rexel will be on top of its duty to make sure that we have a very amicable resolution to this issue.
If you are in that part of the country, that's what the Northern Regional Security Council has been saying through its chair, the regional minister.
Let's head to Noka once again, shall we? It's a small community in the eastern region. They say they are grateful to the winner of the 2nd edition of the Joy News Impact Makers Awards for spearheading efforts to establish the first basic school there. Well, the winner of the Joy News Impact Makers Awards, Eunice Asiedwe Japong, says she has already started receiving calls, Evans, from NGOs and philanthropists who want to support the Noka community. Eunice was posted there. You know, it was a non-existent school, but instead of changing her posting, she collaborated with the community authorities. Maxo Agbagba has more.
Scores of pupils have gathered in front of their classrooms singing to welcome their teacher, 26-year-old Eunice Asiedwe Ejipon, back to school.
In fact, as the Bible has stated that
here at the Noka MA Basic School, I've met Reverend Prince Owusin Tiamwa, who generously offered his church to begin this educational journey.
Because all the children here go to Damai school, and it is very risky for the children by crossing the road. It is helping a lot because most of the children were not going to school.
Secretary to the Noka Town Development Committee, James Yaokwachi, shares his appreciation for the blessings that Joy News and Eunice Ejipon have brought to their community.
Eunice has been a great help to this school, so she has been very, very helpful to this school. Joy News has been a blessing, I would say, to the whole nation. They have been helping us in diverse ways.
Classes are in full swing with Eunice diligently teaching the pupils. Eunice says she has started receiving calls from NGOs and philanthropists eager to support the community right after she won the Joy News Impact Makers Award.
It's awesome. I feel excited after the awards and coming back to work, teaching and learning materials. I said, Joy News, I am so grateful. I thank you so much. I have been receiving calls from all over the country. I say thank you to the multimedia group. I say thank you so much. NGOs, philanthropists, even individuals who want to support, and I'm still counting.
A resident near the Noka Basic School, Diana Aremia, testifies to her daily hard work in educating the children.
It has helped reduce the danger of our children crossing the busy highway to go to school. The school has saved many lives.
Indeed, it has. And you want to catch the full report on many social media platforms, also on Joy News Prime, starts at 7. This is Joy 99.7 FM, home of the joy Impact Makers Awards.
Yes, and we look forward to the next edition already.
Of course,
Let's hop on the National Science and Maths Quiz train now.
Oh yeah, you know when girls clash, it's always exciting, and girls have been clashing in the Ashanti region. I'm talking about the Kumasi Wesley Girls High School and the Kumasi Girls SHS. Tell me.
They say K.
Okay. They're listening to you, and you know the two schools, you know they're rivals in the Ashanti region, and today there've been a very interesting battle for the academic supremacy. Why
are you laughing?
That's how they pronounce their names. That's how they shorten it. Interesting. They beat their all-time rivals, Kumasi Girls, only to concede to Adam Womasi SHS.
Adam Womasi.
Yeah, interesting.
SHS. Hey,
and Namon SHTS. Well, for some teachers at the school, it was better off not to lose to their nemesis.
You'd say at least beating Kumasi Girls, you are okay with it?
We beat Kumasi Girls, that's all. Nothing much again plays in hand. We are hoping that definitely by the end of this contest we should beat Kumasi Girls. But next aspect, we will try as much as possible to be on top and also qualify to the next stage. Shout out to Kewege.
You're not even expecting them to beat Kewege or to overcome Kewege. No, even when you get to Interco and other stuff, they'll be giving out Jama, insulting us here and there. But today, no, you were not expecting.
And so these are the students from Adawumase SHS, and they have qualified for the first time to the national stage.
It is a big breakthrough. This is the first time for adults to win and go to the national. Give thanks to the Almighty God.
Experienced schools like Prempeh College, OWAS.
They should wait, we are coming. They should wait. We are coming, they should wait for us.
Well, yeah. So Kwegehe in Ashanti region, and they lost to that school.
Hey, what is that school?
No, I mean a very famous school. Adawumase SHS.
It's a famous school.
It's a famous school. This is the first time I'm hearing it. Kwegehe. I like that. Interesting. I wonder what the Wiggy girls make of the fact that their brand name is being diluted.
Why is it being diluted?
Just add
this
K
is
to
the
it.
Kumasi version.
There's a Kumasi version.
That's it.
Like Oprah and Legom Percent.
Okay. Give yourself. Emmanuel Bright Kweku has been following this for us and joins us on the line. So let's talk about the competitions ahead. At least Adawumase has taken the day today. What's going to happen?
So Emefa, indeed, Adawumase has taken the lead today. Today we had some 4 contests. In the first contest, so Kumasi Academy SHS qualifying, and also the second contest, so Armed Forces SHS also qualifying to the national stage. And surprisingly, just this evening, before I came on air, Sewanyako SHS, and they are also a girls' school here. They are also city rivals to Kumasi Wesley Girls and Kumasi Girls as well. But they have qualified for the first time in their school's history to the national stage, and it was all excitement from the girls. And in our subsequent bulletin, we will bring you more of the sound bites from these ladies. They were so excited, I must say. And tomorrow we'll be having another 4 contests that will be happening. And for the rest of the days, from now to Friday, we are having the regional qualifiers. And on Saturday, we are also having the championship for the Ashanti region beginning. So, Emefa, that's what's happening in the Ashanti region.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel Bright Kweku and my colleague James Aveji, following the regional qualifiers of the National Science and Maths Quiz. And we can't wait for the national event. And it will all be on Joy News, Joy 99.7 FM and myjoyonline.com. What a way to wrap up tonight's edition of Newsnight.
Indeed. My name is Mensah.
I am Emefa Apawu.
And Peps is joining us with the squad. With the squad. What are you talking about?
I have a friend and she is very much active on social media, and one of her questions is, does she need a website at all? So we want to discuss that and many more, why someone would need a website in 2024.
Well, I think websites has now become like a social media page because there are tools online that you can use to create your own website.
That's correct.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about that.
Yes.
You want to stay?